Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Shine.
Hello, hello.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
All
Doing
right.
great.
We got a special Shine today.
I'm excited.
We got
This
a-
is super special Shine today.
Awesome one. So,
We have a great guest.
yes, fantastic.
best
Somebody we
guest.
love
Yes.
very much. So, why don't you introduce her?
Okay, so we're bringing on one of our very best friends who is literally, I think, the example of the Shine, like the very perfect example of the Shine. Most resilient, one of the most awesome people. And one of her things is perspective reveals miracles. And you're going to hear the story about why she came to believe in that so much and really, truly like live it out every single day. It's an incredible story. It's an emotional story, and it's a reason for a humongous celebration today. So we're going to bring on our awesome friend, Miss Caley Carroll.
There she is.
Yay!
What's up?
Hello, good morning, sunshine.
Good morning,
I'm
Caley
so
Carroll.
excited to be here.
Did you hear
Good
the
morning.
intro? I don't know if you could hear it.
I heard it all. It was amazing. And I was like, okay, so I wasn't exactly sure what we were doing today, but you're going to make Callie cry. Is this one of those? Is this one of those things?
Well, I know I was walking up here into the room and I was like, I don't know if I can do today without crying, but that's okay because there's lots of tears, lots of good, happy tears to have too.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
crying's a way of life. You got to get them out.
Right.
All of them, the good, the bad.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna be doing all the crying.
Okay. Let's just start with some deep emotional connection with Nick and his tears then.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
So,
Does John does he cry?
he has. I haven't seen him cry much, but in the last 2.5 years, he certainly has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All
He doesn't do the happy tears though. Like yesterday when I was crying, he's just like, "Why are you crying?" And I was like,
Right.
"Because I'm happy." He's
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
It doesn't
Because
work that
we're
way
happy,
for
because
him.
we're
Yeah.
So a couple things. We've had Callie on a couple times. She's been on Shine, and she is, as you
She's
said,
a Shine favorite.
she is a Shine favorite. She's also, like you said, like the quintessential Shine person.
Yeah.
Like she lets it out. Like your light always shines. Like, I mean, that's no matter what. We've known you for a long time, been through all over, right? And it still shines, and it's still something that we all have our days, we all have our moments, we all have that kind of stuff, right? But the shine is really about, like, I don't ever see you cower to nobody. Like, meaning you don't decrease your light to help, to make somebody feel good. You just shine more to help bring them up, which I think that's how this all started years ago.
Yeah.
Was that. And I think if we had a picture, it'd be that smile right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who it'd be, right?
And really finding the cliche is like finding the silver lining or finding the perspective that does shift the way you see things and shift the way you react to things is part of the shine too.
Yeah.
Is like not just being yourself and being authentic and being you all the time, which you're great at, but also when stuff gets hard, because it does, finding the perspective that is supportive and not defeating. And you've unfortunately have had to master that in the last 2.5 years, but
Yeah.
you're great at it. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because before, I've done a lot of talking like you guys and sharing about sharing the light, right? We share about sharing the light. And
Right.
I never really thought about the word perspective through all of this. And I think that we've always, all of us have always really connected to that. And it was just a natural thing when things are going well, or I mean, like even like during a little blip, like just our perspective was so instinctive that I didn't really even notice it until like big stuff hits the fan. And then,
Right.
yeah, people start pointing it out and you're like, oh, that is a specialty that we have.
Yeah.
Right.
But I didn't realize that before all of it.
Yeah. Right. It was there. If not, you just had to like turn it up to level 10 because yeah. Yeah.
Because
And you
otherwise,
did.
how do you survive?
Right. Right.
And that's all you can do. I mean, you got to just
Yeah.
dig in. That's the
good.
thing too, is like you survive sometimes that's, survival is good. I mean, sometimes I think people think that I'm not thriving. We all want to thrive, but sometimes it's like I have to survive, and how do I survive
Right.
to thrive? So
Yeah. Sometimes it's the next breath, the
Right.
next minute, not just Yeah.
that we're focused on.
All right.
This
Well,
today, when I was writing back to talk to you guys, I was just thinking about some different things and about how sometimes, like my current condition right now, like we're offered an opportunity for a pivot, and we don't really want it. We don't want the pivot opportunity. We don't want whatever that is, but we need it in order to grow where we need to go, and we wouldn't see it if we didn't get the pivot.
right.
So
Yeah.
we've gotten some pivots. We all have.
We all have.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Right. So for those people that don't know your story, I know some people watching this do, and they probably are. There's lots of people that are going to watch this because you're here and you announced some really awesome news yesterday. But let's go back to the last 2.5 years. Just give us maybe the Cliff Notes version of what that big pivot was and what you've been through in these last few years.
Absolutely. So back in June 2022, I was just doing life like you guys. We were working our businesses and helping people. And
we were actually on vacation together.
Yeah.
Yes,
we were on vacation together that month. Yes.
We were there, and I was an incredible vacation because I got to bring all 4 of my babies, and my youngest was 1.5, not quite 1.5. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but basically, like, he was miserable the whole time.
Yep.
He had some stuff going on we didn't know, but we would be carrying him around and he just would pee on all of us. Do you guys remember this?
Yes, I do remember. Yeah. And I remember changing his diaper because it was soaked, like so soaked, just pulling it off.
It was like 8 pounds. Yeah. It was huge. Yeah.
It was the wildest thing. Yeah. And we were all like, we're in Mexico. So perspective, right? We're like, it's fine. We're getting in the pool in a second anyways. Pee on me, baby. We love you.
Yeah.
Like, this is us. So we got home and I knew that something was still off, that mama's intuition that we need to have something done here. And it really was. We went to the doctor because he was peeing all the time and he was drinking about 2 gallons a day. And we did this test called a water deprivation test. It has still to this moment the hardest 8 hours of my life of anything that we've gone through. And I wasn't the one doing it. I was supporting my baby going through it.
Right.
And they stopped giving him water to see if he has this rare disease called ADP deficiency. Used to be called diabetes insipidus, but that was confusing.
Yeah.
So they did this test and he couldn't have water. And because he does have the disease, his body was like if we didn't have water for, it's 3 days, right, that we can survive without water.
Yeah.
Right.
For him, it's that amount of time. Like we were monitoring him to make sure he was still surviving.
Wow.
So that we could diagnose it. So after that, I think, we came back, we learned that he had it. My mom was there. I was going back to the room. I finally got to drink something. We didn't want to have any drinks all night because he couldn't have a drink. So I went out to grab some coffee real quick. It was like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. And I went to the door and the doctor met me at the door and he's like, just wanted to make sure you understood he does have this disease. And I'm like, okay, I think he takes a pill or something for it. I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, no problem. I'm glad that's over. Let's get to the next. He's like, well, do you know what causes that? And I was like, could be multiple things. And I'm listing off the 3 things I looked up online because you never want to research too much online.
Right.
That's just cause to worry. So I was going it with pretty naive eyes. And he's like, well, it's most likely for him because he has a tumor in his brain. And I was like,
whoa. Right.
Yeah.
That was my pivot. That was my pivot moment. And I didn't want to walk back in because my mom was inside the room and I know she was going to freak me out. So I walked out to the waiting room and I sat and cried my eyes out for a minute or 2 or 10. I don't know how many minutes passed. And then called my husband. He was in California and told him he needed to get an emergency flight home. He was at a national soccer tournament about to coach games. And there's one of our John Carroll cry times.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure.
Told him the news. He was getting on a flight. And then I sat in the waiting room. And this is, I think, one of the first examples is I don't know if I say I forced myself to, but this was my instinctive reaction was that I started to do gratitudes. So I was sitting there in the waiting room and I was like, thank you for, mine's always this moment, this exact moment. I just found out my baby has a tumor in his head, but this is the moment I have to be thankful for.
Right.
Thank you for the doctors that were able to help diagnose this. Thank you that he's drinking water right now. Thank you for this test being over. Thank you that my husband's coming home. Finding any way that I could to support my emotional state, to be able to walk back into the room to tell my mom what was next.
Right.
So that's the kickoff to what the next 2.5 years became. We found out that the tumor was caused by a rare disease, a cancer called Langerhans cell histiocytosis. So for the next week, we were in the hospital, and that was pretty torturous too, because he kept having to go NPO, which is where they can't drink or eat, in order to have anesthesia. And because he wasn't medicated, we just kept like putting him into this water trauma state of despair, where he would just be screaming his little face off, just wanting to nourish his body, but we couldn't
And he
nourish his
doesn't, and he
body.
doesn't know. That's the hardest.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's
so hard.
18 months or
Yeah.
or less than 2, so
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
reason with him. You can't. Yeah,
Ugh.
you console
could
the
barely
best you can,
talk.
but yeah,
Mhm.
right. Yeah,
So he doesn't understand
Yeah.
what's going on. We don't understand what he's feeling. It takes about a week to get like all of this stuff done. Came home and they're like, okay, so we'll let you guys know what the results are. We didn't know about his cancer yet. We'll let you know what the results are in a couple days. Go home, enjoy the 4th of July. You guys came out. We had this time
Yes.
together.
Yes.
It's like just enjoy life. And that right there is another lesson. It's like we don't know what's coming, but you have this moment right now to enjoy. And I didn't know if this was survival. I didn't know what we were in for.
Right.
It was just, I am going to go home and spend some time with my family.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So
And it was let's just enjoy each other. Let's just see, what can we do right now is
yeah,
enjoy and not worry as much as possible.
And it's go back to the gratitude, because it's funny, because like, we grew up with, not grew up, but with the business that we're in, we did a lot of gratitude. We were taught, so it was like great lessons for you that also, like, let's just say before, you were doing this before Herbalife, before, I don't know if you did a lot of personal development as a real, but it's like, no, right. So it's like you went right back to that, which we talk about it until you have to actually do it, right? Is the tough thing.
Ingrained.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it's not like it's easy to be grateful when things are going great, but when you really need it is when you're on your knees crying your eyes
Right.
out. Like that's, so if it's not a part of who you are, then I saw all these other moms and all these other children's hospital families. Like it was interesting when I was walking in to the test, I had no idea what I was in for. And I was looking around at all the other families and I'm like, man, my heart just feels for these children's hospital families. Like you can tell they're worn down. They're here. They look like they live there. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And then I walked out one of those families. Right. But
Right.
seeing some of them and how broken they were, and everybody's going through serious things there, but they just, like, my heart in that moment was like, I just wish they had some of these tools to just help them, just pick them up a little bit off the floor.
Right.
Then I'm not saying they're gonna be like flying around like high-fiving people, but just to like help them cope, to be able to walk through this journey a little bit more.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember. Well, just similar, like but on a different, when Shayna was first diagnosed with breast cancer, I remember the first day we went into James, and I remember how scared and it's funny because then after, how scared we were, and you could tell like we were the newbies.
Yeah.
And it was, after like months and months and going back, it was like you knew the new people. Like it was a little bit different where we were kind of coming out of it, and you could see like how, just on a different token of what the perspective, right? People coming in, we didn't know what to think, we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
We were like, this is crazy, just this
But you can
whirlwind. Yeah.
sense that, like when you became one of those families and you're there all the time and you are worn down and now you recognize like, okay, I understand how this happens, how they feel, and when I was first diagnosed that first day, I remember so much fear all day at the hospital, worn down, exhausted, tired, probably deer in the headlights. Like, how did this happen to me? Look. And then, the next 6, 9, 24 months I'm there, I just walk in and okay, going to the 4th floor today. But then you could always tell in the elevator or passing somebody that, you could even feel that scared energy.
Yeah.
And I would always just, remember. And like you said, like my heart would hurt. Like, I wish they please could just find something to lift them up for a little bit. 'Cause it's so scary.
Yeah.
When I don't know if you felt this, I remember a specific moment in that the same feeling, like, right. So now we're in a couple years, year and a half. I can't remember the stats right now, but whatever, like going to chemo infusions and stuff. And they would have these little like mom chats or bereaved like family once a week that we would get to go to. So John would sit with Witten or whoever would stay with him while he's getting his infusion. And I would go in and just be with the other parents. And the biggest thing specifically, I remember like meeting this one family is I would just walk in and be my light. Like we were talking about, like just like shine, not saying anything, not like trying to like have the right words for them, but like seriously just coming in with a certain presence. And this family that I met just from being in this little room and had one coffee with them, we friended on Facebook. They sent me so many different just messages of thank you for just providing some light.
Right.
And like the hugs that we exchanged after knowing each other for 15 minutes is they just needed someone to have strength around them. So even though we might not have had the right words, as we become like more experienced on the chemo, wherever we're at, we still get to provide the strength to they can still receive it some, you know.
And you're going to continue to do that. I mean, that's the same thing. I guarantee you, like that, it's a whole different, you know, even like with us when we go through things and it was hard. I mean, that was a hard thing for me with going through that with Shayna was I couldn't do anything except sit there, which I think is hard. I don't know, like that was hard. I mean, what they go through is hard, but it's hard. You know, Caley, like you can't do anything.
Well, and like Nick, I know we talked about this before. You want to take their pain. You ask to take it.
Yeah.
I prayed for it and God was like, okay, here you go. I didn't take it from him, but I had so many of the same symptoms.
Yeah.
It was wild. Like from food taste to nausea, to headaches, to bone, like it was like, you want to keep feeling these things. Here you go. And I had to at some point, like acknowledge, okay, I got it. Yeah. I'm clear now. I need to be healthy to take care of him. I was happy to like feel like I had some sort of recognition what his little body was going through.
Right.
And then now let's just move on to the comforting side because you can't take somebody else's spot.
No, their journey.
Yeah. And you don't get to meet them where they're at either. You need to be there to shine into them.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So,
that is
so good. From that point, I don't know, like, I guess we just went on we tried 3 different types of chemotherapies. The third one finally worked. After the second one, we discovered on one of the scans 5 new tumors. So that was like a pretty like heavy time. Again, I know I have a video of me doing it's called Thank You for the Tumors. So I like went on live and just poured into like whatever lessons you're providing us. Thank you. You can leave now. We're And then our next chemo worked and we ended up doing 58 infusions and that one was really aggressive and we didn't really get to leave the house or do much because he was pretty sick and in and out of the hospital. And there's a lot of different, everyone was different, you know, we always had something else show up, but then a year later, October last year, we got to go in for his scans and they came back clear and the little dude rang the bell and it was one of the best moments of my life.
Yep.
Yes.
That is so good. And he's such a good kid.
That blows my mind. 58 infusions.
I know.
I had 8.
Yeah.
And it kicked my ass.
Yeah.
58 is,
a lot.
It was what was necessary, obviously, but just having a glimpse.
It's amazing how resilient kids are, though.
Oh, man.
I mean, they just, it's like he doesn't know any, like he's just like, okay, it's what it is. I'm going to get through it.
Yeah.
And like, okay, where's my, when you feel good, he's probably like, where's my toy? Where's my thing? Then it's like.
He would, he would just like throw up, he seemed kind of sick. He would just like lose his stuff everywhere. And then he'd be like, all right, so like, that he's happy as a clam, just a little smiling dude. And it's neat to see now how, like I don't know exactly what he's going to remember just being between 2 and 4. So he turns 4. He started the aggressive chemo the day of his 2nd birthday. So like, they're like, surprise, we're changing chemos. We're going to start on October 24th. I'm like, perfect. That's his birthday. We'll see you there. And then this year turning 2 years, like he'll be 4. It'll be interesting to see what he remembers. But as we're going to the doctors, for our 1-year scans, which I know we're going to talk about soon, just a little bit of whatever. We're on our way to the doctors. And I'm so grateful. Okay, so the week before his scans, he gets sick. We haven't been sick for 6 months. And of course, this is when he gets sick. And we don't know what's wrong because his rare disease presents a lot of different challenges with his medication. So we don't know if we're medicating him wrong or he's throwing up. And he ends up getting like hives all over his whole body. And one of the ways LCH, the cancer, can show up is in skin, like deformities. So we go to our pediatric doctor and they're like, he's fine. It's just a virus and it's GI, so it shouldn't affect his scans. So we are sick for the week leading up to the scans, and everything's kind of off. His medication's off. So it kind of puts you off as a mom because it's already challenging to get to that part.
Right.
And then I'm thinking about it. When we went to the doctors, he had a great experience. And he hasn't gone to the doctors without getting a poke, like, right, some sort of shot. So we go and everything's great. And he got to have this positive experience. So then here's my perspective. I'm like, thank you that he got sick the week before so we could go to the doctor, so he could have a good experience. Because when we got in the car to go to the doctors for his scans 2 days ago, instead of freaking out, which usually he would cry all the way there, he knows we get on the highway, we get on a certain road, which he
knows
drives.
where he's going. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, Mom, are we going to my doctor's? I'm like, we just
Yes.
like, can we get a little bit closer before you realize it? I'm like, yeah, bud, we are. And he's like, well, when I was little, I used to go to the balloon doctors and they gave me shots. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, but I like to go to the hive doctor.
The hive doctor. Yeah. The hive doctor doesn't give shots.
I was like, well, the balloon doctor has to check it out, like, because just to make sure that everything's good. He's like, okay. And he was chill the whole time. He's like, well, I don't want a shot. And I was like, well, we'll talk to him about it. Like, we'll see what they say. And then so he was okay all the way into the moment where we got there and we're waiting in the room, aside from being hungry as all get out.
Yeah.
But he was fine. And then they had a new little tool for doing a shot and they got it the first time. And it was just, again, a pivot, which didn't seem like the best thing for him to be sick before rescans, ended up being a blessing. So that he could have a little bit more courage.
Right. And then have a way more peaceful drive to the hospital, drive to the doctors, peaceful for him, but also peaceful for you. Because there's a lot of anxiety leading up to scans and doctors and all of that.
And let's talk about that scan. So we're at this scan. So this is the scan, right?
This is it. This is the 1 year scan that just
scan.
happened 2 days ago. And the results came yesterday.
Yes. And everything looked phenomenal. And the little dude is NAD. And why would you cry if you're happy?
I know,
it's like, so you have to cry.
It was the best possible news ever, but it still makes me cry.
Oh my gosh. I know, every time I say it, I'm just like, and it's interesting because you guys know, like, it takes some time for it to settle in.
Right.
And at the same time, I have to catch myself over and over again because it settles in. And then my brain is like, it's an incurable disease. And there's, a 15% chance of it coming back. And, we leave and he's like, okay, so here's what you have to watch for, this, and this. And then we'll do blood work to look for markers. And this is a forever thing. It's not like a 5-year thing or a 3-year thing. It's a forever thing. So I have to be really careful on, like, giving myself the opportunity to step back and be in, like, this moment that we just had, to be like, we have a year without scans. We have a year, we only have one poke in that whole time, I think, probably, whatever. But we get to, like, move into this next chapter of him being 4 years old and just being a normal kid and having normal experiences and really living in the present.
Right. And guarding your mind against that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
That's
it's not going to help.
It's not going to serve. No.
Yeah.
That is hard.
If somebody could have told me, I don't know if you guys ever get this, like, question, but, like, if somebody could have told me what we were going to face with Witten any sooner than the moment I found out, I would absolutely not wanted to know. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to know 24 hours before. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to sit with that. So just like any of us, life presents different challenges. And I know we're all different, but for me, I want to be able to be present now and not worry about what's going to come up, because that's just going to take away from my current life. So right now we're in celebration, in the life, in the fun mode.
Right.
But it's a gift. I mean, it's the same thing as it makes you, when the life comes about, the other thing, there's, because life's going to still happen, other life, right? All kinds of, and it's perspective. I mean, I think for us, even now, it's like, really, when it gets down to it, it's like, does it really matter? Like, you get, you're like, really? I'm getting
little things that
getting-
used to maybe
yeah, maybe
throw
matter.
us
And I
off
was
or whatever. Yeah.
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 What is
Yesterday,
that?
I'm thinking about this, Nick. I was like, you know what? Like my new favorite thing is it's not that deep. Talking about the Riz, talking about all the stuff, right? Like, I'm like it's not that deep, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, because I have these conversations back and forth. It's like your own little like shine that you just internally dialogue, right? And I'm like, so what's not that deep? And I'm like, honestly, like I was thinking about this. This was before his scans. Like it's not that deep. If they come back positive, then we know what to do. We know how to fight it. We're going to do it again. And I mean, I'm not saying I want any of that, but
Right.
we can move on, and it's not that deep if we don't get to go to Florida in 2 days to celebrate like we're supposed to. Like other people are going through way more than that. And I'm like, what is that deep? And the only thing that I could really come up with is our light and our kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what's that deep.
That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, showing up and shining like you guys do all the time on here.
Yeah, so so you have this celebration, this huge celebration. In anticipation of the celebration, you booked a trip for your family to Florida, and you're supposed to be leaving for Florida.
Right to
Sunday.
Tampa? Is that where you're going?
No, we're in St. Augustine, and we're so jacked because we got to use our family's timeshare and we got to use points for travel. So it's like a free vacation. And we're like, yeah, the kids know we're going. We have friends going. We're bringing one of their kids. Pivot.
Yeah. Milton changed things. So yeah, but it is, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Like it is, it's just a pivot for a vacation. And that's okay.
I mean, if you need me to come cook, because I know I'm Winton's favorite cook.
You are
This
Winton's
is for
favorite
sure,
cook.
master chef.
Yes.
I'm just
If you
saying.
could he asks for steak all the time. He's like, well, are we having steak? I'm like, well, it's not Nick's steak, so it's probably not going to be good.
Those have always been the best times too. Come to your house. Like,
I know.
we love that. It's like, I get to cook all day. We sit in the kitchen, I think, the most time, and it's the worst cooking kitchen I've ever been in. Ever.
The tiniest kitchen. We just push Nick in there and be like, you do your thing. Go.
Figure it out. It's a challenge. It's an adventure.
Yeah. It's like Shayna and Caley cooking together, like their kitchen. Like there's not a lot of stuff. There's not a lot of pans in there. There's not a lot of...
We don't need a lot of
creative.
pans.
Be better. Do better, Nick.
It's a challenge.
It is a challenge.
It's definitely a challenge when
like,
you don't
I think
have
we should
knives or spoons.
I think I should make a show. We should do that, like a cookie. Okay, come into Caley. You're going to cook in Caley's kitchen. This is what you get to work. And the other thing is, I start to think I got to figure it out, like where things are at. It all changes.
Don't worry, I moved everything already since you left.
Have you?
So next time will be different.
And there'd be things in one, there'd be like 5 different things in one drawer. And then the other drawer has 5 opposites. So it's not like, typically most people would put spoons in a drawer, right?
You need multiple spots
like
for those.
all spoons. No, we have spoons in 5 drawers.
And there might be a toothbrush too.
There could be a
You
toothbrush.
never know what you're going to find.
You're welcome.
It's
not that deep.
It's not that deep.
It's
just
not
a
that deep.
But I love it. I do, because I think it takes me all day because I have to like open 10 drawers for one thing every time. So I think that's my speed. I got to learn. I'm learning my speed.
Truth be told, I actually go and just like I remove half of all of our stuff and then I hide it and I mix it up before you get there.
Yeah.
And then when we leave, I just put it all back together.
And it's all organized.
And it's all organized and cooked. And you bring out the good pans to stay in. I think I'm gonna bring my pans next time when they come back and
ship the pans ahead of time.
Shipping pans out. I'm gonna have.
Okay, so I have a question for you because I've been seeing something we haven't talked about lately. Is your whole like decluttering journey, revamping, cleaning?
What?
What's happening?
I know, Nick, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
Decluttering?
Yes.
Dude. And we like, okay, so after diagnosis, that's one thing that I felt like I could do, like, because I was trying to control something. So I felt like I needed to like clean out every closet and every pantry. And I did, and then it undoes itself. And recently, actually a month ago, I woke up one morning, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to paint the house white. My house is orange, teal, blue, yellow, red, like rainbow,
multicolor
sparkles. Rainbow brick walls. And I was like, I just need a blank slate. Like, I know that we're entering this next chapter and I want to like really clear the space around me so I can have more room for whatever's within me. And I told John, I'm like, you might want to get a hotel or something. I'm going to paint the house. My mom's out of town. And I know he hates how my mind works because painting the house doesn't mean painting the house. that means that when you're painting the kitchen, you also got every single drawer and cabinet just like goes in the middle of the kitchen. But then that means that I also need to do the garage because that's where the other kitchen stuff, but then some of that stuff's going to go upstairs in the bathroom closet. So I'm going to do that. And then all of those things. And then downstairs. So like
And
this went on.
it goes on. Yeah.
And you pulled carpet up in the basement you pulled carpet
Well,
up and repainted.
Yeah, because then we were like, well, we might as well, if we're going to paint, then we need to we don't want to paint after or before. We should just get that done. So we're going to
so it turned into a huge house revamp. Yeah.
And we're not quite done. I'm sitting then I looked in Jace's room. I'm in my son's room right now, and like the paint just needed a little update. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna paint this room today. So things are organized in specific drawers and areas.
Wow. I love it.
Nick.
And it feels good, doesn't it?
It does. But I know I'm not done yet, because then what I did is I picked for this month's book club, the art of decluttering? I forget. It's like, I've had this book. I bought it like 10 years ago. And it's really about like, not just decluttering your house, but only choose to keep the things that bring you absolute joy.
Oh,
and so the reason why
I've heard of that. Yeah.
And the reason why I think that I have to do this every 3 or 4 months is because I end up just like keeping things that are okay, or I seem like functional or whatever, but not really like connecting with every item. And it's way more of an energy vibe book than I thought, because she has you like pull out all of your clothes, hold each outfit and be like, what does it make your body feel? And then it's discard, give away, or keep. So you end up getting rid of, like, talk about minimalizing your area.
Yeah.
So even though I've cleaned, now that's my next mission, is to really sit with that. And you think about it, right? If you looked around the room and you knew like, yeah, this is a cool piece or whatever, but if you looked at something like that brings me joy, like imagine only being in a place where you are surrounded by joy-filled objects.
Yeah. That's funny because we kind of do that a little bit, but my clothes closet is like, there's things that I keep that I don't, I hold it and I put it on and I don't feel good in it, but I think.
Then you hang it back up.
But at some point I felt like I did. And I've changed. Mm-hmm. So then I'm always hanging on to like, well, is it just me? Is it just not my moment? Do I want to get rid of this? You know? So
one thing that she says about that, because I'm the same way, Nick, is she's like, you get to like take each object, and if it's like, let's say a book that you read halfway or that you haven't read yet, because books can be hard, and you're like, oh, it's just, I'm not ready for it yet. Or I want to finish it, or I want to read it again or whatever, to like really sit with it and see how it makes you feel. And then be like, you know what, that it was meant to teach you that lesson, that, you know, you were meant to get it, and to realize like that this one isn't for you now. Or you thank your pieces of clothes, like, thank you to this suit. I know that I wore you when I was getting pinned in 2014, but also that was your purpose and that was your job. And now it's time for you to go be with someone else. And like, you really connect with the energy.
I think that is a suit. I think there is one suit that's funny. I think that's funny. Yes.
So I haven't done my like stage clothes yet, because I'm like, oh dear, I don't know what's coming or what different things are, but I do know there's some things that I felt more comfortable on stage than others, but I still kept them all because who knows if I'm going to want it for that one. No need. It's going to be fun.
That's good. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah.
I do believe in the, like, I know you two are the energy people. I'm more like John and like that energy thing, but I do believe.
Meaning you don't believe in it that much. Is that what you mean by that? Except by the tone of your voice, you're like the energy people.
But I do believe in the clutter thing, because I think the same thing. If your desk is cluttered, like like I know, like if I go in my office and I have stuff on my desk, and it's like, it's a whole different thing than when I walk in and everything's clean and everything's off my desk. You know what I mean? Like I feel better than, or like my car. My car has a bunch of stuff in it.
You do really well with your car. As far as that space in your life, your car is almost always clean.
I don't like to have like paper. Like I don't like to put apple cores, you know. I mean, I'm not that type of a guy, but some people eat apple cores and they just kind of put them down like they think they're going to throw them away, because you don't want to throw them outside because it's littering. But really, it's nature. You can plant a tree, but no, we leave them in the thing. You don't ever do that.
I've never done that.
At least I get in her car and I'm like, there's an apple. I reach down and there's a freaking apple core, eaten brown. I'm like, what are you doing?
The other problem is my sense of smell is so bad that I don't smell things when they get bad.
I'm just like, why did you throw it out the window? That's littering. I can't do that. I said, no, it's an apple core. Like it's allowed to go outside the window, isn't it? Is that legal?
Yeah, I think
I
That's
think
legal.
It's fine. I mean, as long as you don't like hit someone, right?
right.
That's
That
what I
could be a whole
think.
nother level.
Toss it to the car behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. That
but
would
I
be
think
bad.
I try to throw it into the field. Maybe I'm planting a tree.
You might be.
That's what I think.
You're saving the world.
I
and
definitely,
your car
I
clean.
definitely don't put
And
it
your
under.
car's
I
clean.
definitely don't put it under the seat where I'm going to forget about it.
Well, so let me ask this. Do you feel differently when you get into your car? Because it is always like in a,
Yes,
like, do you feel like, yeah,
I love my car. Yeah,
yeah.
I get in it. It's my truck. I just love
So
it.
what if every place was like that?
I know.
Yeah. I think that's
It-
is that that's the outcome, right? Is if I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
I'll tell you, like when I come back into the house now, I'll just like sit there and I feel so much peace. I didn't feel like I had anxiety around it before, but there must have been something that was rubbing energy wise, Nick.
Yeah.
That like now I walk in and I'm just like, what do I want to do? The world is my oyster. Like a lot of times we will detract from what our future is meant for us, what's waiting for us, our next project, our next thing, or just our next moment of being present because we're like, oh, I got to pick up or I've got to do this or things aren't where they go. So
Yeah.
it just gives you so much more time freedom, mind freedom
Right.
to be able to have all of everything where it's supposed to be and know that you love every one of those items. And let's be honest, you can't keep your stuff together if you have millions of items everywhere that you're
Right.
like you just love because there's too much shit around.
Yeah,
Right.
we're trying. Yeah, we do. I mean, you do a good job. She's like doesn't want to keep any, like not keep anything, but it's like we're constantly going through stuff.
I
and,
don't know
like,
how we have so much stuff because neither one of us are shoppers. Like we don't buy many things.
we give
And
away.
I
stuff.
go to Goodwill or the trash like every single week, and I still feel like we have so much stuff. But I need to maybe do it. Like, does it bring me joy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our
And
kitchen.
the
Yeah,
biggest thing that I would say that she has, like she goes through, is that you have to do it like in one big shaboom, which by that she means like over a course of like 6 months because
Okay.
our homes have everything. But like
Right.
you want to be so dramatic that your space like my space feels dramatically different than it did a month ago because it will give you that satisfaction that you're like, yes, I did the right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it worked and I want to keep it this way because again, I've done it over and over and over again. I recollect things, go to their wrong spots because I still have too much stuff around. So
Yeah.
giving
That's good.
yourself like
One
space.
big.
and
yeah.
you got two little ones that put things other places, and two big ones that put things other places.
It makes it very confusing. They would be very upset about the amount of toys I got rid of. I was like, and then my mom's like sending me these Facebook pages about like there's a sale going on for clothes and toys, and I was like, I just got rid of
No.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's like, well, are you going to do like Christmas presents? And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. That's going to be. I'm going to have to figure that out because I don't want more crap around. I want something
Right.
I'll actually play with.
Right.
Give them a box and a
Marker.
Well, even
tape.
something that like is, I don't know, usable and then it's over. Like the project is
Yeah.
over.
Kind of like the potion project that you guys got them and the
Yeah.
rock project. They
Yeah.
love that. So like they got to use their hands, they got to do their thing. And when it was done and it
Yeah.
was out.
Gone.
That's
Right.
a great
You
idea.
just
Yeah.
get it over with and then it's done. Yeah.
Yeah. So like little activity based things. Yeah. You know,
See, I
Oh,
think
man.
just going with that, like I need to put artificial turf in my front yard, like you did. That's another thing. The
He's
greatest-
very
Take
jealous
care
of
of your
that.
garden.
He's super jealous
I know.
of
I
the
wanna
artificial turf.
I just want to put
yeah.
artificial turf in my front yard.
Yeah.
you guys, it's so nice. I know some people are like, oh, but then, it's not, I don't know, it's artificial, but we can lay on it in the winter and it's
Yeah.
perfect. And
Right.
Yep. Our yard looks really bad right now too. So if we were ever going to do it, now might be the time ish because
It's just like
our
I got
yard,
it
our
priced
grass
out
looks
was
terrible.
like $50,000 to do, like
bring John Carroll out. He'll
Yeah.
do it with you.
because it was like so it's like that looks like a yard, but it's also like pet. It has it because we have the two
Well, they
big
have a
dogs.
dog.
They don't, your dog doesn't poop on it. Our dog would poop all
Oh.
over it.
Yeah.
Well, our dog's not very smart.
Although Finley did poop in the office. That's why I'm not up there
Oh.
today. Woke up to a little, I'm like, why does our whole house smell like this? Surprise, pivot.
Yeah.
I'm like, John, you want to pick that up or you want me? And then I was like, you know what I'm grateful for? We don't have carpet anywhere in our entire
Yeah.
house now.
Right.
So it's
It's
much
way
easier.
easier to clean up.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes.
crap, any of the things. I'm like, I'm prepped.
It is
Yep.
awesome. That's awesome.
Glass
That's
half
awesome.
full.
Always. I love it.
Oh
Even
my
when the
God.
dog poops.
Yeah. That's letting your light shine. Heather says hello too. I don't know if you can see the chat, but you probably can't.
I
but
can't.
Yeah.
Hi, I love you. I miss
She
you.
was on there. Yeah. So she's all my favorite in one room. You see her baby is so cute.
Oh.
my
little
gosh.
Emma.
It's been
Yeah, Emma,
too
yeah.
long.
It's about a year. She's about a year old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
the
Oh.
cutest, sweetest. Yeah. Little Gerber baby.
Oh.
Big cheeks and big blue eyes. She's so sweet.
We do need to get you guys out to Ohio, though. I think you would
I
like
know.
Ohio. Does John do any soccer out here?
They don't.
No?
None.
I don't,
No.
do you guys have a lot of soccer there?
Not in our part of Ohio, but Columbus
In-
and like Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, and Columbus area, there is a lot of
I
soccer.
mean, the crew is there who they've won
He
it.
does. Does he do girls?
Girls.
He'll do whatever. He'd be in charge of like acquiring tournaments. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
could like target it and try to like get tournaments.
Yeah. Maybe
So
he
then
should
they've
find a
been there
location in
for them.
Ohio for his
Yeah,
next
find it.
one.
Yes, he could do both, and we can. Yeah,
It would be the best, and you can
It
cook
would
in a
be
real
great.
kitchen.
I could cook in a real kitchen. Oh, you've been. Yeah, you've cooked in my kitchen. But
Yeah,
you didn't cook.
we
You've eaten.
made the most incredible cauliflower
Yes.
pizza
If
crust.
any of our viewers want to know the recipe and how to, we'll get Matika, Callie, and myself,
Yeah.
and we can
And one of the
tutorial.
cool things about us is we don't really have recipes when we cook, so it's
So,
going to be like a
just
little of this and a little
of
of
that.
this, and then try to do this, and it'll go wrong.
And a little love. You gotta love it.
A lot of love.
Love it.
Love.
Always gotta love. Always gotta love it. Just feel it. Gotta feel
Yeah.
this energy.
I think Whit and John's about to come in. I'm going to make him. I'm going to see if he wants to make. An
Oh yeah,
appearance.
I want to see him. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm right here, buddy. I'm doing a video, Grandma. You want to come say hi?
Bring Grandma. Win.
Witten, how are you?
Hi.
You can see him. They're right here.
We want to. I want to come make you steak. You ready for some steak?
No. Oh my gosh, is he okay?
You said
Hi.
no.
You said no to steak? My steak? He's
He
looking.
was too busy telling me a story.
Oh. What's
Do
your
you see
story?
who that is? We were at the hot springs last weekend with just Quincy, and he saw this couple in the hot tub. And he's like, "Mom, that's Nick and Shayna." I'm like,
Aw.
no, I was like,
I
no, I think
wish.
it is. I'm like, no, it's not.
I wish it was.
We
We
miss
had- you
you.
know-
We miss you, Witten.
Can you tell him? Can you tell him about your doctor's appointment? Do you remember what the doctor said?
Do that record.
Okay, you can do that record, but will you tell Shayna what the doctor said?
What'd the doctor say?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
know?
Well, that's over. You know.
Yeah,
I
that's
heard he
over.
said
That's
how.
a-
I heard he
that's a
said how
lesson.
wonderful you are.
He found a PlayStation or something.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's wrecked. It's a CD. It's a game. He's not. I don't know how to work that. I think I actually broke it.
Gotta love the
I-
kid.
When I was cleaning, I think I knocked it on the floor and it's just broken.
It's
It's just a
broken.
PS4.
You know,
Sorry,
it's
Jay.
just, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, the same thing. It's like a kid, like you said, the mentality of like
It's over.
the amnesia. It's over. Like it's
Yep.
like we
Yeah.
still talk about. We still dwell on. There's moments of like trauma. And I mean, honestly, like probably moments of trauma for you. And it's like, yep, I'm good. Let's go.
Good,
Like,
let's go.
Yeah,
What's
we're done with
next?
that.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
that
over.
computer's broken.
The computer's
It's
broken.
absolutely broken.
Oh,
Broken.
can you hear me? I also think.
yeah,
your
we can
mic
hear
is-
you. We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. I was just looking at that. You can. I can hear you. You can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mom, can
Now I can hear. What is happening?
What are you doing? What's going on?
The mic just keeps like zipping down, but it's just my like. I don't know. I don't know if he's
Something's
Who
touching. it.
knows?
whatever. He just doesn't
Ah.
like me with vinyls.
Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just grateful for today and this talk.
I know.
This has
Thank you.
been
It's like
so good.
I messaged
know.
Carol. I was like, Callie. I was like, I'm gonna message Callie, like from yesterday, and then I went to a side chat. So I didn't want to get your hopes up.
I
wasn't
know.
sure, and she was working out, and which is awesome. And
It tastes so good. It was funny because I was like, I got it, 8 minutes after when you guys were gonna go live, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just pull over to the parking lot. What are we doing?
Right.
Like this is how this is
how we
how
roll.
we operate together. Just kidding. We've been prepping for weeks.
Yes,
this has
planning.
been-
Well, we've been
Right.
prepping for
yeah,
10 years
Devin,
without
we've been,
knowing it.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, 10 years we've been prepping.
I didn't just restart my computer right before this. It was nothing.
Yeah.
We've been set. This has been
Oh.
amazing. Would you grab a book? What'd you grab?
Me?
Yeah, you went and grabbed them.
Witten grabbed Jace's Beatles vinyl. He's not gonna like that. I hope he doesn't watch this.
Yeah.
It's fine. My son's like my 18-year-old is big into records. He's got
Really?
them all cool. Yeah, he loves them.
That's
He's a music
awesome.
man. That kid knows all genres, all songs, all stuff.
So is it an old Beatles or is it like a newer one you buy?
I think this is an old one. because we had like we used to have one when I was little. So when we
Yeah.
pulled him out, he kept the ones that he wanted to.
That's awesome.
I think we got rid
I
of
love
them.
that the old vinyl's coming back.
I think my dad, yeah, we
Oh,
threw all
there
those out. Yeah.
I know, it's so
Yeah,
sad.
well, that's one of the things that's hard, right? Like
Yeah.
we can't think about that for the tidying things. We're like, what if it comes back in 50 years?
I
Right.
know. See, I blew it. See, like now you got me thinking. I ain't throwing nothing out. I threw out, like
Like a sabotage.
$1 million. I could have had like the rare Beatles thing that I threw out.
It was probably scratched from your childhood
Probably,
days.
yeah. We scratched the crap out of things.
Hey, wait, and tell Nick and Shayna, how old are you going to be when Jace comes back from school? You don't remember?
You don't know.
He always tells me, he's like, Mom, I'm 6 because Jace is back from school.
Oh,
Like, because that Jace is like when he comes back from college, this is how old you're going to be.
yeah.
He remembers that. He doesn't remember going to the doctors yesterday, but
Right.
Hey, that's perfect.
That's
good.
great. Even better.
So be
Oh,
resilient. Have lifelong friendships. Love
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Yep.
Lots
Guys,
of
I
joy.
love you so much.
I know.
I know. Thank you for being here today.
But
So
we have
good
to
see
we have
you.
to figure out when we're gonna get together again. We always
Yep.
I do love that's one of my favorite trips is honestly like
Coming to Caley's house.
going to Caley's house
Mm-hmm.
and then at your mom's house. I love your mom's house. Your mom's awesome. You know what I mean? Scott, they're awesome. They're just like it's just I love it.
We have a euchre rematch.
Now I kind of know how to play euchre, so we
Yes.
got like new things on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't it's funny, we don't do much. We just sit around and like honestly we eat.
It's the best, though. Play games.
great.
I feel
talk,
like
eat.
we all we do is feed. Yeah, like if we're coming over, it's like your mom. We're gonna eat. Like she knows that. So we did
know
homemade
what?
pizza.
It's the practice in being like present, where if you think about our old us, like I don't think we could have just sat there and done
Right.
nothing
Right.
for so.
Right.
We've
It's like-
we've all gotten much better at slowing down and being present, which is really hard when you're wired like we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and me, Nick,
Yeah,
especially.
you too, for sure. It's been.
I think I am wired crazy, but sometimes when you said you had the voice in your head, I got like 20.
Yeah.
I feel like I get so many voices in my head, and I feel like I have conversations that I don't have with her that I think I did. That I'm like, well, maybe that was just with me. She goes, "You never talked to me about that." I'm like, "Really? I think I had a whole really? Are you sure?" And it's with myself. But the kitchen gives me like
Your
that's where
peace.
that's where
Yeah.
I'm the most like peaceful and calm.
Yeah, in the kitchen.
Yeah, I could
That's
I could
true.
sit in the kitchen all day and I mean, for your birthday? She wanted eggplant
Yeah.
and I had to bake a cake for the first time, so I made I'm not a great baker yet, so I made a cake. You know what I mean? But I think I cooked all day for like
did.
2 people for our meal for just us. It was like I was like, man, I'm not really efficient at this. You know what I mean? So it was
But
like,
you do love just being in. That is when you're the most calm, for sure, in the kitchen.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
When you can find that like place in your life, that activity where you just are filled with joy. I think a lot of people don't take the time to like actually slow down enough to recognize that and then give themselves the opportunity to do more of that.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
finding your true joy moments where you kind of like lose track of time and it's just
oh yeah, you're right.
You know?
Yeah. But it's because even like if I'm gone all day, like, and you don't really. She doesn't really cook. So she's like, when I get home, like I almost expect to cook. Like that I want to. Like if she has something made, I mean,
A lot of times I'll
she's
have
a great
something
cook and have
out
it made.
ready
Yeah,
for you to cook.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But I just it's better like when no matter what it is, no matter how long my day was, I'd rather come home, sit in the kitchen, and I just kind of put the TV on. I just zone out and
But it is good. Like even if people identify it, giving yourself the time to
do it.
to
Yeah,
do that,
That's a good.
and double down on it, and really invest the time in those things.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
Which I kind of like might even be a good like at least in my mind like a wrap up point for like my whole journey. I feel like entering this new chapter, I've been spending so much time with myself in my mind about like what's really next, like what is your true joy, and doing like the 1 year exercise, like okay, if you only have one more year left, like what things do you really want to accomplish or do or be or all of that, and instead of just going back to what I used to know
Right.
and the not even monotony of it because it's so old, you know, it'd be new again, but like really discovering what is my kitchen, where's my
Right.
kitchen at.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Ah.
a
It's
good.
fun.
That
to
could be
do.
a shine. What's
that
your
could be-
kitchen?
Where's your kitchen?
Where's your
Yeah.
Where's your kitchen? It
Yeah.
absolutely could.
That's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we love you.
Oh, so good
Love
to
you
see
guys
you.
so much. Thanks
Love you.
for this little last minute invitation. I get to spend
Yeah,
some time
I
with you.
love
Like,
it.
care what we're doing. Yes, I'm getting on the
know.
phone or Zoom with both of you and spending time together.
I know.
course, yes.
We need to do it more often.
Enjoy your celebration.
No, enjoy.
Wherever
Love
it is, I'm going to celebrate right now, and we're going to celebrate somewhere.
Yes.
Somewhere we will be going.
Yes.
I love it.
Good. All right.
Remember this. Remember the world needs your light to shine.
We need.
You need your light. Oh, and we
No,
definitely.
see?
You got me confused.
You need,
You.
and
We need your light to shine, and you definitely need your light to shine.
Have an amazing day. Love you, Caley. Mwah.
love you guys.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye.
See you.